On the night of St. Patrick's Day, in a mansion perched above the roaring Atlantic, a man toasted to his luck. 30 seconds later, he was dead. The room was locked from the inside. No one had entered, no one had left, and yet someone in that house had already planned the murder. It would take a woman named Padraigine, pronounced Pa-Dreg-een, a name meaning Little Patrick, to find the devil in the details. The Irish mist was thick enough to swallow the village of Dublin when retired investigator Trisha O'Shea received the letter. Most people called her Trisha. It was a name that suggested a cozy grandmother knitting by the fire, but those who knew her history called her Padraigine. It was a name that had commanded respect in the Dublin Metropolitan Police for 30 years. Trisha was a woman of deliberate movements. Her silver hair was pulled back into a practical bun, and her spectacles hung from a silver chain around her neck. She wore a heavy tweed coat the color of damp moss, perfectly suited for the biting coastal wind. The envelope waiting on her mahogany desk bore an elegant seal, a golden harp pressed into emerald wax. Trisha broke the seal with a steady hand. Inside, the script was jagged, as if written by someone whose hand was shaking with more than just age. Padraigine, the letter read, "If you still trust your instincts, come at once. The house remembers what happened here 20 years ago, and on St. Patrick's Day, it will happen again." The letter was signed Moira O'Shea. Trisha's breath caught, her own cousin whom she hadn't spoken to since the scandal of the Emerald Star Mine. Trisha folded the paper, her gray eyes turning as cold as the North Sea. Something tepid was waiting at Shamrock Clover Manor, and she was the only one who could stop the luck of the Irish from running out. But Padraigine had no idea that by the time the fiddle stopped playing, one of the guests would be a corpse, and she would be forced to choose between the law and her own blood. 2 days later, Trisha arrived in the Boran, a landscape of cracked limestone and ancient secrets. The pony and trap climbed narrow roads overlooking the Atlantic. Wind whipped across the cliffs. Salt hung in the air like a shroud. And ahead stood the estate known as Shamrock Clover Manor. The house was a borene's length from the cliff's edge. Dark stone walls climbed toward narrow windows. Thick ivy crawled across the facade like green veins. When the door opened, a young maid greeted her. "Céad míle failte, ma'am," the girl said nervously. 100,000 welcomes. Her name was Bridie. She wore a pale green servant's dress with a white apron tied tightly, but her hands trembled as she took Trisha's suitcase. "You're the one from Dublin, then?
You.
The one who
Good evening.
sees
I
what
believe you were
others
expecting
miss?"
me. Yes, ma'am. Please
Trisha
come in.
offered a small, sharp smile. "I see what's there, Bridie. Usually, that's enough." Dinner that evening was a grand affair. Trisha sat at the end of the table, her eyes darting like a hawk over the rim of her teacup. There was Captain Arthur Fitzwilliam, a man who carried the posh accent of the Anglo-Irish gentry. He looked like a man who owned the world, but feared the wind. Then there was Siobhan Kelly, the actress. Her emerald silk gown shimmered, but Trisha noticed the way she watched the captain with a gaze that wasn't quite admiration. It was hunger. And Liam Miller, the historian, he spoke in riddles and old stories, his tweed suit smelling of turf smoke. Trisha didn't listen to their boasts. She watched their hands, the way Liam's fingers twitched, the way Siobhan didn't actually swallow her wine. By the end of the evening, Trisha O'Shea was certain of one thing. Every person at that table was hiding something, and one of them was hiding murder. The St. Patrick's dinner was a feast for the hungry. The long oak table was laden with silver, plates of slow-roasted lamb with rosemary, buttery calcannon. But Trisha's investigative style was the quiet pressure. "A lovely drop of whiskey, Captain," she remarked, her voice soft. "Though they say the best spirits are those kept in the dark, much like the secrets of the Emerald Star Mine." The table went silent. The only sound was the wind howling outside, a keenet, the banshee's wail. The captain's face turned the color of curdled milk. That's ancient history, Miss O'Shea, best left buried. Liam Miller took the bait. Buried, perhaps, but the soil here is shallow, he said. He explained the scandal, the salted mine where gold was planted to trick the locals. Families were ruined. Arthur Hartley, the manager, was blamed and cast out into the storm. They say Hartley's daughter's still out there, looking for the ones who truly salted the earth. Trisha noticed Siobhan Kelly's hand tighten on her silver fork until her knuckles went white. Interesting, Trisha thought. The actress is playing a part, but her body is telling the truth. By nightfall, a fearsome storm struck. The Atlantic rose up to meet the sky. Inside, the fiddler began a frantic reel. The guests danced, their shadows leaping against the stone walls. It was a Kaylee, pronounced Kaylee, of the damned. Trisha stood by the fire, her mind working like a clock. She smelled something through the peat smoke, not just whiskey, something sharp, something off.
Near midnight, the captain retreated to his study. "A final glass," he shouted over the thunder, "to the luck of the Fitzwilliams." He poured from a heavy crystal decanter. He took a great swig of it. 30 seconds later, he wasn't laughing. He clutched his throat. His glass shattered on the floor. He collapsed onto his desk, his eyes staring at nothing. Trisha was the first to reach him. She didn't scream. She leaned down, sniffing the air near his lips. "Cyanide," she whispered. "The scent of bitter almonds, or a bitter heart." Mr. Murphy shrieked. "They are locked," Trisha snapped, "and the windows are bolted from the inside against the gale." The room was a tomb. No way in, no way out. Trisha began her sweep. She didn't look at the body yet. She looked at the floor. Near the threshold, she found a smear of dark black peat mud, but the captain's boots were clean. "Someone brought the outside in," Trisha muttered. Trisha spent the night poking and prodding. She found a green silk ribbon snagged on a bookshelf. She found a spool of nearly invisible fishing wire in the historian's bag. You don't kill a man on St. Patrick's Day unless you want the saint to bear witness, she told the empty room. The next morning, the storm broke. The sun hit the cliffs with a blinding light. Trisha gathered everyone in the ballroom. She looked like a judge in her tweed coat. "The captain didn't die from the whiskey in the decanter," Trisha began, her voice echoing. "He was poisoned hours ago, a slow-acting capsule in his morning tea." She turned to Siobhan. "The toast was just theater. You knew he would collapse then. The locked door, a simple trick with fishing wire and the bolt. A bit of stage magic, wouldn't you say, Miss Hartley?" Siobhan, or Evelyn Hartley, didn't deny it. "He stole my father's life," she spat. "He salted the mine and let my father hang for it. I just gave him a taste of his own gold." Trisha looked at her with a mix of pity and iron. "Justice isn't found in a poison bottle, child. It's found in the truth. And the truth is, you've become the monster you were hunting." As the police led Siobhan away, Trisha stood on the cliffs. The Emerald Star was still a fraud. The captain was gone, and the manor was just a pile of cold stone. Trisha took the letter from her pocket and let the wind catch it. "Happy St. Patrick's Day, Moira," she whispered. "The debt is paid, but the luck has well and truly run out."